Creation Catalyst unlocks in 2 weeks, everyone. Yay!
I can't wait. I already have 4-piece. Get everyone else in the world.
Oh, yeah, I just got my 4. It's really nice when you're the only priest in the raid. And there's no,
there's no paladin
shaman.
and occasionally a shaman. But
True.
very rarely.
Yeah. Sometimes we kill a boss and I just hear Matt say, tier for Michael. I'm like, yeah, great. But yes, Creation Catalyst, it's too late. Everyone's been saying this. Everyone said it when this came out.
Yep.
It's too late, guys.
It's one of the major problems.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, when we start maybe if you want to start an alt, take it through some stuff, you're going to love the Catalyst being there. But I think really the problem is Blizzard admitted it was too late in Sepulchre and then had similar timing this time. And as much as it is very true that the RNG backstop provided by crafted gear is great, it is also the case that, number one, that crafted gear cannot be turned into tier, so you will not want to use crafted gear in any tier slots until you know where you're getting your high item level 4 set from, if you're playing, air quotes effectively. It's too late. So, I mean, right. So for what's been left for us in this document, who exactly is the intended user of this system? Yeah. I mean, I think it's basically just a very casual player who pugs a few bosses a week, does some LFR, dabbles here and there. And I think there's probably so many more people that fall into that category than we think. If I think about, before I started playing with guilds and playing properly, that's what I did. Back in Wrath, of course. How many people are in that position now? I think the Catalyst is basically made for them. That's at least what this timing would suggest to me, even though that's still a little bit tenuous, to be honest. I would love Blizzard to clarify here. That's really what I wanted, especially because they said in Sepulchre it was too late. And now it's being released at the same point in time in this tier. Now, you could look at that and think, well, okay, they're clearly insane. They've lost their minds. Or it could be they didn't think they needed it because of other things. To which I guess we say back, yeah, well, tier is tier. It's important. That being said, this season's tier is not as important because generally expansion one. Okay, the general thought has been normally the first tier of the raid doesn't have super crazy tier set bonuses, but I've actually not tuned in the balance because I've just been in my lane having fun.
That doesn't matter. Theoretically, it does. Yeah. Theoretically, the difference between tiers a 2% damage increase, not as important as if tier was a 20% damage increase. Technically true, experientially not true, because tier is this arbitrary other thing that makes it really very, very strong. So it doesn't matter. It's still the thing that you don't have that you should have. That is a damage bonus. Other people who play as much of you don't have it. And obviously there's an element of, well, you could say that for all RNG gear. You could say that for crazy trinkets. But at least with trinkets, that's understood. Tier is this thing where people actually go, no, well, we kind of want it. Especially if you came from playing late last season and you had the Catalyst available, then you're just going to want to make the Catalyst available. And I feel like tiers become too important, especially once the design elements come in. It's become too important and it needs to be on a fixed schedule for acquisition. And that sounds really shitty, but I feel like that's basically the solution. You can restrain that RNG element that's fun and move it to other things. But I think the Catalyst needs to be in every, as long as it is. I don't know if it needs to be a fixed schedule.
Well, their whole point,
but it needs to be at least you can get. Yeah. There's the variation should be, you were lucky and got 4 set on week 2, but you will have 4 set by week 4. It's probably how it should be.
What Blizzard said is that the Catalyst, whatever its prefix is, or whatever comes before it, that it's supposed to be an evergreen thing, and so it's supposed to be a system that I think basically works the same every tier. I don't think people particularly like how it's ended up playing out. And basically, you'd think that this exists as 2 things. Catch up for alts, which it does serve now, but only if you want to New Game Plus. as opposed to be playing multiple active alts at the same time. So it's two different use cases for alts. Or it's bad luck protection. I mean, I don't know how many people are, like, you're really going to be in need of bad luck protection if you still don't have a 4-piece and you've been consistently clearing content.
I think we're really lucky to 4-piece. If you look at the rest of our raid, no. Like 2-piece. There's people who don't have 2-piece yet in our raid. Really? And that's just because you've been lucky with being the priest who gets the teardrops. And also, I've been lucky I've got most of my tier from Vault. So I've been brutally lucky.
Whoa, that is crazy lucky.
I've been brutally lucky. I think I got 1 piece maybe from Raid, but I've been brutally lucky with Vault every week on that front, and you've been lucky with the Raid drops and also being in the position to get it, where we're kind of almost funneling to you, not intentionally. So yeah, it's definitely way too late. Like, it's way too late.
It's as simple as that. You look to the community reactions, like from Max, clearly weeks or a month too late. Don't know what else can be said at this point. Yep. Yes, because this has been asked and they said it was too late before. So honestly, it just doesn't make sense.
Yep.
I at least hope, and like in my head, I think their justification could be you can get gear from other sources and first tier sets are more simple. You don't need them as much. I'm hoping that's their internal justification, so that it means we get it sooner next time without them having to change their minds. But also, I really hope they change their minds because I don't think this is working for like the majority of their engaged player base. And maybe there's also a discussion to be had about the release timing of Primal Storms, but I don't think we have to have that right now.
No.
But yeah, so is what it is. Kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, just need to rethink. I think some of where the RNG environment is in Gear and Power. Because I know they love the acquisition of tier, and they love the acquisition of tier to feel good when it's random and it's improved. But that argument could be made for Titan Forging still.
Yeah.
That problem could be with, it's a big happy bonus. And that feels good, but not really far enough. And then it's like that tweet also said about the problem of why is there crafted gear that fights with a tier piece? There's no point of doing that. If you're expecting a world where everyone has tier, in a world where everyone will have tier because of the creation catalyst, it just feels a wee bit like it's not completely dialed in. A lot of gearing otherwise has outside of raid gearing, which now I'm going to call rearing.
Rear gear.
Raid gearing is raid gearing is still a bit too slow for my taste. This is from the perspective of us like clearing normal and then just progressing heroic. And it's been pretty okay, but it's not been great. There's still a case of if it were any harder, I would start saying, right, we need to, as a guild, we need to start doing Mythic Plus very regularly. Some of us are like doing it a lot regularly, some aren't doing much at all. And that's not proving a problem because of difficulty, but in a world it could. And that's because raid gearing doesn't feel like it's gearing us enough. But that is from our perspective of running between like 11 and 13 players and getting 3 drops. And I feel like that should be a little bit better just because there's so much, especially when you're only killing a couple balls a week, you're progressing and you don't want to re-clear because the re-clear gear's pointless. It's like normal gear's pointless and we're not getting heroic gear fast enough. Yeah. And that's like, I think they need to dial a little bit of that in and throw the catalyst, and then gearing will be, as far as I'm concerned, basically the best place. Because even, I don't like the whole, you have to get like the really strong trinkets or you have to worry about a weapon. I think those are okay to be a decent sense of variance, especially because trinkets now have, well, I need to double check, but as far as I can tell, they're getting a lot better with trinkets being, I guess, situationally substantially better. Outside of maybe Grief Torch being very, very strong in a few many situations. But there's a lot of things you can do with trinkets now that go, oh, you'll probably want this, but you might want this for this, or you might want this for this. I think that's good. Tier doesn't fit in that category, and other gear doesn't fit into that category. So it's just make it be a little bit faster, a little bit nicer. I think realistically is the idea.
Yeah. I guess a decent thing, which...
Yeah. Also, Valor Cap. Yeah. It's because Catalytic Flow says that's your Raider Valor Cap. Yeah. Get rid of the Valor Cap and also get rid of the Raider Valor Cap. Do it for one patch or one season and see how it goes. Because it was way nicer in Season 4. And I will say, I'm not at the Valor Cap. I don't do AM Plus enough. Some of that might be because I see the Valor cap and go, there's no point in me playing because I'll just be capped eventually or whatever else. Also, just play whatever time I have free. But it's still like, that is still like the sort of Damocles going there, right? It's hanging over your head. Like, I would love, because if I could just go and upgrade the shit out of my weapon, I would go do that. But I know I can't.
But it's that that it is throttled in that way that you don't want to go and embark on it in the first place. One thing that is at the very least good for us, and I just bring it up because we raid like 3 hours a night, twice a week, starting at normal.
6 hours a week, still 20% of a full-time job.
True. Yeah, we do plenty of raiding.
Well, it's not 20%. Yeah, it is actually, yeah.
We do plenty of raiding, but, we've just, last reset, killed Razagath on normal. Now we are 4 out of 8 heroic.
Are we 4? Yes, we are. No.
Yeah, Sanarth was a cakewalk. Aranog was a cakewalk.
One-shot Sanarth is easy.
Taros does a lot of damage, and
we needed to dial in healing for that.
Taros.
Primal Council,
which was pretty grand.
A wee bit sloppy until we decided to actually handle mechanics properly.
So much easier that way. Dathia. We're like halfway through.
We could kill Dathia on Monday easy.
So yeah, we're almost 6 out of 10. I guess the point though I was going to make is, I think we now have each of us 5 of the things that makes the item that you need primal to make infusion. the primal infusion. So at the very least, like that part of the RNG backstop of gear is now going to kick in for us once we get a few more bosses. And I suppose, given the amount of charges that we have, you could go get a heroic weapon, maybe. I'm not sure about how much they cost for the infusions. Anyway, glad the crafting stuff is there. I actually haven't really used it much.
I crafted I crafted a healer weapon because I wasn't going to get any drops, and I'm never going to roll that stuff, and I'm never going to like get a healer weapon because we have so many like healers and users. So I just went and crafted one. Went, there you go.
It's pretty crazy.
There you go. I have backup for if I need to heal, or if I want to go boomkin anytime, or like melee heavy comp becomes a problem, I can do that.
And now, actually, perfect segue.
I do have my lariat. That reminds me, I need to recraft my lariat. I forgot.